Well, hello traders and investors. I'm LA Little and this is your daily NeoTA wrap. We take a look at these markets and we're doing it from a neoclassical perspective, meaning each day we ask ourselves what happened today and what does it tell us about the coming ones. I do a show 4 times a week every Monday through Thursday. It's broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's archived on YouTube and it's under the channel LA Little. If you want to subscribe, reach up in the right hand corner and do so. Anytime content's pushed, you'll get a notification to that effect. As far as what happened today, let's take a quick look here at the ending numbers. As far as the S&P, a nice big push today, 0.5. Russell 1.09. We had the NDX 0.31 and the Dow itself up 0.64. Nasdaq was a little bit stronger. The NDX still lagging, folks. This has been the case for a long time. That's really not what you want to see. We did see a little bit of outperformance for about 4 days, but still lagging. Overseas, DAX finished flat. The Nikkei was down last night. It's up a little bit here tonight. The TLT, the bonds, 30-year bond, was down today. We had silver and gold both pushing a little bit higher today, silver in particular. And then we also saw a little bit more activity in the dollar. Dollar was actually flat, moved around quite a bit. Yellen had 2 speeches today. Indications there, she didn't take anything back she said a week ago, and that is that, the Fed still thinks that things are going to be good enough and they're going to be able to raise rates. So that took the dollar, pushed it higher, and then it pulled it back and so forth. So we had a little gyration intraday. I told my mentors this morning when I was talking to them, the folks that are in the mentoring program, our first round of mentoring, we've got 2 candidates that have come through it with shining stars, if you will. They've learned really well. We're excited. We're going to do it again here in another month for members. We're going to have 2 or 3 more sign up, go through another process, teach more people how to actually do this. And of course, I've got that crash course I've talked about. We did fill up the last slot and I did have a couple more emails, but we'll have to wait on those because it's full up. I only want to take 10 people. I want to have it interactive and be able to really teach folks in a very condensed fashion what neoclassical is and how you can apply it. So a lot happening on the mentoring front. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you want to learn how to trade and you want to learn how to trade neoclassically, you got to start somewhere. You get started here on TA Today. There's no other site that does this. Nobody else looks at bars of significance, measures those tests, and tells you what's probably going to happen next. Let's get started here with the charts. I'm going to pop over the S&P 500, start there. So starting here with the S&P 500, let's look at what we got. So up until now, we haven't had any kind of failures anywhere, anytime, right? I mean, we've had a couple potential reversal signals. We called those out when they happened. We had one here, didn't take, actually wasn't there. Where was it? The S&P never gave us a good one. We actually had it on the NDX and a couple other indexes. But what we did have today is we had a test of the high, right? There's a swing point high here. We went into that high. We got over it, right? Back underneath it. Volume lighter. That says that's a test failure at the high. That says it should pull back. Now remember, we had 3 consecutive days where we gapped down, pushed back higher, gap down, pushed down, and then pushed back higher on the rest of the day. So intraday moves back to the tops. This push today, it's on an extended move, right? We've got an extended move. Look at your angle of ascent. That's a test failure. That says it should pull back. So we're going to get a test now back into something of significance, and that's this bar over here. That's going to be the test. It's probably going to happen fairly quickly. I would think that we're going to see maybe a little bit more of an attempt to the upside tomorrow. But this is probably going to come back, test into this, and that's where we're going to learn more about whether this market's going to break out and go test those all-time highs, or in fact if it's going to roll over again. So we're right at the cusp here. We've got a lot of information that's about to hit. As for the information tonight, it's saying we're going to try and pull back. Let's look at the NASDAQ, see if it says the same thing. A little bit different story, but the NASDAQ actually is saying the same thing with respect to the registered breakout here, 497,136. You get over it, you get back underneath it, you got less volume. That's an attempt to follow through on this breakout, and it doesn't do it. If we look at the NDX, we were talking about the NDX being the laggard. Well, today the NDX, of course, lagged again, went up, got over, back under. This hasn't even got back over the highs. The high it's playing with the bottom of the high, not the top, 45.16 roughly. You're still over it. It's struggling at this level. If we look at the Russell, now the Russell has been the strongest and continues to be the strongest, and today it just continued to power higher. The Russell, if we bring over the weekly chart, is trying to get up to its breakdown bar and get over it and get into the swing point high. The top here is 11.83. The Russell's sitting at 11.76. So when I said earlier that we may see a little attempt in the morning to get a little bit higher and then pull back, I think the Russell is the one that's going to try and do it. If we look overseas, right, we don't have a lot of information coming from the overseas market. Let's start with Europe. Now, Europe is the one that's going to get hurt as a result of a stronger dollar, of a weaker dollar. Today the dollar was mixed, finished flat. The euro actually held in okay, didn't get a big sell-off there. This was an inside bar, and the volume actually was light today, even though I don't have it registered yet on these charts. The CAC's the same sort of thing. If we go down, so no information there. If we go down and look at the Swiss market, which has been the better tell the past couple weeks, the Swiss market's an inside bar as well. Nothing telling us there anything either. We look over to Asia. Now, Asia should be the one that benefits off of the weaker dollar. Shanghai tries to get higher, really doesn't get anywhere. If we look at Hong Kong, it's the same story. Can't get anywhere, right? Pushes back up, it's just hanging there. It was a little bit of a hammer reversal here, but it's coming into the top of the breakdown bar. So it's got forces on both sides pulling and tugging. No good tells in the European or the Asian markets overnight. Finally, if we switch over to the OX markets and look at those currencies, one thing I want to pop in here first is the emerging markets, because again, the emerging markets should benefit, and you saw that benefit today and volume coming back in here. If you look at the weekly, it's coming back up, wants to test the swing point high. There are two swing point highs registered up here together, very close in terms of price points. You've got this one, you've got that one, and you've got this big volume, not that one, but it's this bar here that I was trying to point out where all the volume is. The top of that guy is at 34.28. We're trading at 34.24, and so this is kind of a key area. If it can get over this area, get over this breakdown bars high, which is 34.40, it's going to attack those swing point highs, and that's why the money is coming back in on the daily charts. People are trying to prime up and get into that before it breaks. FXE holds up higher, really kind of flat there as well. Did get over, did get back under it. That may give us some sort of a pullback tomorrow. If it does, that would say the dollar is going to reverse and go a little bit higher instead of lower, and the dollar did the same thing today. Got under. 24.33 was the low there. Closes at 34, so under, back over. Less volume, says it wants to try and push higher. So the dollar potentially pushes a little higher tomorrow. European market should benefit from that. An emerging market should pull back off of that. And as far as the gold, silver, those commodity markets, they're in a full forced barrage to the top side. Grains, look at the grains and the big move taking place there. Go to the gold market, or actually just look at, say, the gold stocks, which have been the leaders in that sector. Gold stocks pushing up and going to try to go test these tops again. A lot of activity off this dollar. Currency moves. Looks to me like the market's going to try and test higher tomorrow and probably start some sort of a pullback again. I suspect this week is going to be more consolidation instead of direction. We did get direction today. I don't know that it's going to last, though. That's it for tonight. Thanks for joining me. Tell a friend, tell two. I'm LA. This is and was your daily NeoTA wrap. Have yourself a great night, and I'll see you next time. Good night.